Booster Course Wave 4 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is here, and we're checking out all changes and differences made for the returning courses. The first race of the Boomerang Cup is Tour Bangkok Rush. Locally known as Krung Thep, the capital of Thailand is renowned for numerous outdoor markets like those along the Chao Phraya River, Wat Arun, and other temples near the Grand Palace, the BTS Skytrain, and the ceremonial structure of the Brahmin Festival, the Giant Swing. So how does the most recent update differ from its mobile appearance? Let's find out. Bangkok Rush debuted as part of the Bangkok Tour in 2022, with the second and third variants introduced in the 2023 Winter Tour. For the Switch version, all three main variants are incorporated over the course of 3 laps, with additional upper and lower path options. There's even a new shortcut in the gliding section to cut a corner pretty nicely, but so many more discoveries can be found here. As usual, let's tackle the gameplay changes first. Lap 1 follows the first variant of Bangkok Rush. The barriers before the left turn into the Chao Phraya River were replaced by arrow fields with other swaps like this made to accommodate for future laps, but the shortcuts left open to the left and right lead out of bounds at the moment. The bend itself was widened, affecting construction elements along the edges. Fewer boats are present in the river, with many moved to different spots. More specifically, the first, second, and third blue uncovered floating market boats on the left were removed, while the first blue covered boat was moved to just after the first 2 rowboats, carrying different goods than before. The blue covered boat hugging the left side now is positioned to appear a bit later and away from the edge, but the green boat without oars after the first right rowboat vanished completely. Meanwhile, the rowboat parked by the market on the right moved to the end near the planks, and the rowboat just before the blue covered boat now has reached sooner. The blue covered boat just after the rowboat that allowed for tricking off the canopy was removed, and the blue uncovered boat to the right of the final rowboat used to be snug against the side. Lastly, the arrow sign buoy was pulled out and the nearby blue uncovered boat was adjusted to block the space beyond. That was a lot of shifting about. Leaving the water, we see that the ramp at the bend is gone now. Just ahead, the plank leading up to the series of canopies at the Mek Long Railway Market was removed, but it's still possible to reach the left side from the right plank. Up here, guardrails were added along the walls to prevent drivers from crossing over, but the barriers just after the marketplace were adjusted to allow more space on the right. Turning to the left from here leads to the BTS Skytrain, where racers can choose to go up the stairs or continue at ground level. With the lower path cleared of all cars and trucks, we noticed that 2 inky piranha plants were replaced by piranha plants in Mario Kart 64 style, nestled on 2 sides of every support column where signs are. The curved barrier on the right side at the end was removed for the Switch update. Heading to the upper level, tricks can't be performed at the top of the stairs anymore. At the other end, the green barriers blocking the boarding area were removed to allow driving on both sides of the train that used to be at the other boarding area, where barriers are now. The left side was accessible in the third variant, but the right side is entirely new, and all options lead down one of the 3 staircases. The corner just beyond is possible to cut now because of the removed highway guardrail, although a barrier prevents driving into the grass. Concluding the lap, items appear at the starting line, replacing the other nearby set. Lap 2 starts with the Bangkok Rush 2 route. The corner on the right now is a normal road for shortcuts. After a few more turns is the business district, where all tuk-tuks, as well as a cart, were cleared from the street. At the fork, the route switches to that of Bangkok Rush 3, leading drivers onto the curved dirt path, which ends with a glide ramp that was modified to include a steel part. Here, racers can drop at the giant swing to drive around the monuments rather than glide, but being airborne gives the opportunity for a new shortcut. This is achieved by tricking off the back right column base of the Democracy Monument to hop over the fence to the right before using a boosting item through the grass. Oh, and the curved barrier after the flight in Tour isn't present for Switch, because it's not there when passing through during the first route, much like other elements of previously visited areas going forward. The road along the river has 3 dash panels and 2 side steppers replacing the vehicles and surfboards that occupied this area. And like the similar spot at the start of the lap, the corner at the end of it is a normal road too. Lap 3 continues along the Bangkok Rush 3 route for the first few turns. A temporary barrier appears at the bottom of the staircase since it diverts from the path. The tuk-tuk on the side of the road that connects back to the business district was removed. At the end of the shops, the route shifts to Bangkok Rush 2 again, leading left towards the parking garage of the Esplanade this time, with the tuk-tuks missing. Tricks no longer can be performed at the top of each incline in the garage, but while the ramp at the exit is gone also, tricks are possible here. Racers are greeted by a sea of shops called the Night Train Market Ratchada, where it's possible to bounce on the canopies or head to the ground in the middle part. The barrier on the road at the end was adjusted to be straight rather than curved. Returning to the BTS Skytrain, all descending stairs become accessible once again. Yeah, so that was a lot. While fewer aesthetic changes were made, we still found quite a handful. The general modifications include the rotation of the minimap by 90 degrees, as well as general lighting, contrasting, colorization, texture, and spectator differences, and the appearance of little birds in elevated areas. Arrow fields throughout the track are turquoise rather than red, so now N64 Calamari Desert won't be so lonely anymore. Looking towards the brighter sunset sky, we see and hear in the opening new fireworks bursting above the Asiatique Sky Ferris wheel, which now spins. Switching focus to the ground now, the lane line before the starting line was removed to make room for the starting grid, which turned from yellow to white. Just before the Chao Phraya River, the umbrella here was rotated inexplicably. The water of the river is very different, changing from opaque and still to transparent and rippling. On the other side, an arrow sign in a boat was added in the out-of-bounds area by the bend, with others like these all over, only without the boat. The same applies to the removal of this arrow type, like the sign in front of the Mek Long Railway Market. See how many of these arrow additions and omissions you can find. We're not sure, but the planks to the left seem like one now. The ceramic tiles lining the rails in the market are modeled for the Switch version, starting later and ending sooner than before. However, separated tiles can be found by the wood with more under the plank that is still propped up. The sleepers between the rails now have a very different texture, and the special arrow signs by the train car at the end were traded for arrow-marked barriers. Arriving at the BTS Skytrain Railway Division, we noticed that the PTT trucks and car by the scooter below were removed to keep the way clear for later in the race. The aisle curbs were modified to match the outer curbs, black and white to red and white. Above here, the special arrow signs in the boarding area were swapped out for a regular barrier with the adjacent two adjusted a bit. At the start of the lit-up business district on the second lap, an MKTV van was placed behind the barrier. The arrow-marked barrier segments were made into the normal type, with all others like these modified the same way going forward. Here's another MKTV van by the entrance to the parking garage of the Esplanade. Inside, everything is hit with a lime green glow now. Were these displays always animated like this? Hey, who took all of the safety cones? Outside again, utility poles with power lines were added in the night train market Ratcheda, no doubt providing power to the merchants below. And here's the last MKTV van. Why? The music is pretty interesting. It's contemporary jazz with traditional Southeast Asian flavors mixed in, featuring saxophone, electric bass, and various instruments of the region, along with a combination of modern drums and cultural percussion. The original version captures this feeling well, playing the modern melody over hectic percussion in the A section before a gamelan-like bell, possibly a gong wong lik, strikes 4 notes, leading into the B section. Here, a reed instrument resembling a pi nai plays on a culturally different scale. It ramps up to a free-spirited C section before cooling down to start over again. The arrangement remains true to the source with higher quality instruments and some mild differences in percussion types, rhythm, and overall articulation, with some especially effective, like the very jazzy flutter-tonguing of the flute in the C section, producing a harsh, vibrating sound amidst the percussion that was subdued in the phrase before. It approaches the ending with cymbals gone from the brass hits and familiar flute trill. It's a beautiful blend of old and new worlds. And that's about it for all changes we found in Tour Bangkok Rush. While revisiting areas and the many path options may leave some disoriented, this can be a strategic track for experienced racers to determine the best path to take. But what do you think? Have you found any notable changes that we missed? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Booster Course Wave 4 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and other things Nintendo too. Thanks for watching. Until next time, lagon.